Hello, this is the LEGO Ninjago Dragon's Forge set. Now what you're looking at here is the Fusion Dragon up on top on a perch. Minifigures are down below. This is a mech called the Buffmillion mech, and just the center section is the structure that is the Dragon's Forge itself in its open form here. So here's the forge with everything else removed, and I specifically called out its open form because you can also close it up like this. Notice that the swords cross here up at the top. This uses some of the new partial quarter round large tile pieces that we'll be seeing a lot more of. You'll also be seeing smaller versions of those. And this creates kind of a triangular cross section if you were to look at this from the top. So here's one side of it, here's one side of it, and then the back is relatively flat. Got some stairs going up in the front, lanterns hanging down, and just one single small tree with just a single piece of foliage on the side. This does not look very good from the back, but at least it is closed up completely, so there are no holes. Right at the front, the stairs can be lifted up to reveal a secret compartment, which contains the dragon dagger, they call this, which does have a hollow stud in transparent light blue. This can actually be used on an action feature. In the center of the structure is the forge itself, and you can place one of these blades into this slot here where you have a Technic axle pin. You can rotate that around, and you can see that the flames start to move around there. Another thing that you can do on the sides is operate these forging hammers, bring those up and down on the anvils, and you can see a lot of weaponry has been made. Let me take these out for you. It's a pretty broad selection of tools of battle, some of them built, some of them single piece, including this recolor here, which looks fairly copper. I believe it actually has silver on the inside, and then it's dual molded with trans orange over all of that. In addition to using the dragon dagger to turn the forge, you can also just use a small gear on the back that makes it much easier to turn that. And up here on the chimney stack, there is an element that turns around which has 4 different stickers on it. Each of these scenes appears to be telling part of the story of the Fusion Dragon itself. This is kind of the default one here, and then you get a couple that are like this, and then this one that's a little bit more ornate. On the right side is what they call a leisure room with a rug in the middle, a couple of small round tatami to sit on to enjoy some tea from the large teapot there, a couple of, well, they're coffee mugs, but they're supposed to represent teacups, I believe. And then down below, this is some sort of food preparation or storage element. I don't know if it represents a refrigerator. I hope it's not just holding on to some refrigerated sushi, because that's kind of nasty and the rice is all hard and everything. But these are stored in there, and these pieces are printed and they're cool pieces. The left side area, meanwhile, has a sharpening stone, so you would just spin this up and use that. This is the stone itself, just a rotary wheel style. This is just a workbench, but it also has a secret compartment underneath with one of those small 1x2 collectible playing cards with a sticker on it. For folks who have been collecting those, they've been making these, and I think they're pretty cool. The Fusion Dragon is a proper dragon with 4 legs, and it has 2 heads, one from the water element and one from the fire element. Those have identical builds, just different colors, and you can pose these in different ways, including bringing the jaw back, bringing that forward, opening it just straight like this. And you've got the water style eyes on the fire head and the fire style eyes on the water head over here. They can be, completely articulated separately. They're on a couple of ball joints there. Again, swapping back and forth between the elemental colors. They go on the legs and also out to the wings and out to the tails as well. There's an area here where the 2 elements kind of cross. You can see everything is just kind of spiraling around. It's all wrapped up amongst itself and ends up changing from one side to the other back here. So the water head and wing is over here, but then the tail comes out this way. This is dark azure, this blue color that's used throughout most of this. Lots of articulation back here, of course, and more with the wings. Now the wings are only on a single ball joint, but they're fairly exposed, giving you a decent range of motion. Not a whole lot front to back, more back than front there, but you can rotate them around quite a bit, and there's some motion that you can get out of the individual feathers, if you will, of the wings. Plenty of articulation with the legs, bringing those up and down, also bring them out like this to get some slightly different ways of posing, clawing with the claws, more dark azure pieces in here, and you can get this to stand up. In my opinion, this is the best way to really show off its size and its might. It also lets you see the colors the most, because from some angles when it's just on the ground, you're kind of only able to see the head and some of the sides, but like this, it really displays the wings when you view it from around the front and also from around the back. This has two kind of seats on it, with the rear facing one having a crossbow that can be aimed up and down and also turned side to side, and that's able to shoot out these water studs, and that's the hollow trans light blue piece once again. Here are Kai, Nia, Maya, and Ray with the handcuffs on. Kai here gets one of the 4 colors of time blades. This is the reversal time blade. It's another element that has silver on the inside, and then they poured trans orange over that, so it's just silver kind of in the center part of it where you can't see through, but then the rest you actually can see through. Nia gets a complete departure, well, a more full and complete departure from her traditional color scheme. Just has a little bit of the dark red left in there, has brought in more of the dark azure color, and the base color for her torso, her hips, and her legs is all pearl, dark pearl gold or gunmetal gray. And there's also something else to be seen with these. I'll need to take some elements off so you can see the rest of the prints. Alternate faces for all and full torso prints for all as well. Plus, they have additionally included hair for Kai. So you can have him hooded or hoodless, bring the hair out, although you probably wouldn't have the hair on when he's in this form, but they also have hair for Nia, so you can switch out either of those. On the bad guy side, here's Commander Ragmunk and Slackjaw. Each of these includes a bunch of new molds with the armor pieces as well as the weapon pieces, with the new weapon parts getting dual molds with 2 different colors. Over here, this is the transparent red, whereas this is a translucent red. Doesn't let quite as much light get through it. It's just a slightly different appearance, especially when you've got light actually shining through it. They've also used the transparent red as the dual mold alternate color for the helmet for Slackjaw. These are molded all the way around, so they didn't get lazy with the designs. Let me take some of this stuff off. There's a closer look with the alternate faces and the very ghoulish prints on the torsos with all the different serpents that are just intertwined, forming these humanoid bodies. That's dark orange used on the color for the figure on the left. A lot more of that ghoulishness and intertwining of all the snake serpent characters inside of there for each of these, all the way around. Nasty. Here's the Buffmillion mech, which also is comprised of many serpents within it. You can see some of those just struggling within the stickers that show that it's kind of buckling its own armor from the inside with just the pressure of all of them. And some of the heads, 4 of the heads, have emerged up here. That's also a new element, which just, in this case, has no tail on it. It's just kind of the neck and head of a serpent, each one, and then just fits into anything that has a hole the size of a bar. Uses big fig arms on the sides, which are able to, just be brought up and down, and then they can rotate these hands around, which kind of are doing like this the whole time, and they can kind of morph to grab onto things is the general idea there. Also has waist articulation, that I wasn't expecting, and this element here is in that gunmetal gray or dark pearl gray, and there's another one around the back, so they didn't get did not get lazy with the design on the back. They actually covered it up and continued the color scheme through the whole thing. Last up, they include 4 of these old snake pieces in red, and you can hold on to them, use them as weapons, or you can just kind of strew them about as they're falling out of the mech, or trying to form into a new mech or merge with the bad guy characters. The dragon obviously is a big deal in this set, but I personally most like the look of the forge structure, especially from the outside. It's just very elegant, and I think is done to a level of completion and displayability similar to the Temple of Air Jitsu, which is really high praise. But yet, it still makes for a very respectable playset with plenty of places to pose your figures. Even where they don't have anything built, it's still a reasonable open space that feels like it's on the interior of the whole thing. Plus they include, lots of stuff to actually play with, so there's much that's been done well with this whole structure. I personally am still not into Lego for the minifigures, but I feel that the minifigs in this set are done well, especially on the bad guy side with those prints and the new molds. I have to say I am not thrilled with the way the dragon, the Fusion Dragon, perches onto the forge. It just uses this square here, this inverted tile. It just kind of slots in on the top, and then a couple of studs hold on to the thing. But see, the legs aren't actually touching anything. I want it to be perched. I want it to be actually grabbing the structure, and you can kind of bring the legs in a bit to try to simulate that, as I've done here on the side, but I would have preferred more of a proper landing spot for the dragon. You may have wondered why I didn't show you more of the articulation of this Buffmillion mech. Well, it's because of this. I wanted to leave it for this section of the video because this top really does come off too easily, and then once you try to repose it, it always falls down. So maybe bring the arms down. Nope, they don't quite fit. So you can pretty much turn it into a snake form like this, where it's just on the ground. Use those couple of studs on the back to mount up a figure like this. Maybe even bring these arms back and then just use it like that, but then it's not able to do snaky kind of motions. Really, it's most effective in just one single pose. So there are definitely some things that could have been done better with this set, but I still think it's pretty good overall. The main structure is good. The dragon is a proper dragon build, fully built up, and yet has good personality and good posability. The minifig selection is nice, plenty of accessories included here. And altogether, I feel this will appeal to a large number of Ninjago fans and collectors of different ages. Those are all just my thoughts, though. Please do take your turn now to share what you think about the set. What is your favorite feature, your least favorite feature, and what do you think about it on the whole? Share your thoughts in a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.